All right, all you Loki lovers out there, we're going to stop this right off the bat. We're going full-on spoilers in this one. We're going to keep it nice and sweet and simple. We're going to tell you all the things we think, some of the things we think were going to happen from this point moving on forward. And we're also going to be talking about some things that we thought were a little odd about this episode. Of course, we're talking about the Loki's Disney Plus series, episode 2. Some would say the mid-season finale twist of a one-episode so far show. This show is coming out the gate, ready to play. And I'm all for it. Jackson, are you all for it?
I'm literally the most for it of anyone.
Fantastic. Ever. So if you have not seen Loki episode 2 or you do not want it spoiled, go watch it, then come back and listen to this review. For those of you loyal listeners who have already done so, let's jump right into it. Now, Loki has almost immediately just become accustomed to TVA. He's already wearing a suit. He's sitting at his desk. He's doing homework.
Some homework. Not all of it. He did a little bit, not too much.
Not too much homework. We now know that Miss Minutes is both sentient and not sentient because she's just talking to Loki.
Yeah, I didn't think that we'd see her past episode 1.
No.
I guess.
Hopefully she's like a Stan Lee cameo and she's just in every episode.
That would be, I don't know, a bit too much, but whatever. It doesn't matter.
Anywho, we get to know a lot more about Mobius and Loki's relationship in this one, seeing how they work. Mobius, as he refers to himself, is not the most by-the-books kind of agent to get results. And Loki literally doesn't even follow the books. He's the god of mischief. So there's some similarities between them to make their chemistry even more enjoyable. And we see throughout this, as they're trying to catch this variant Loki, how they work together. And we kind of see that, like, even though this may or may not be part of Loki's plan, they're kind of starting to click. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's the thing I like with this episode is they don't really, like, specify whether or not Loki is in control of the situation. Because, like, he acts like he is, and you don't know, like, what side he actually is on.
Absolutely. He's got to be playing sides. That's how it works.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it really does a good job of, like, not really revealing, like, who he's, like, what his true intentions are. But
yeah. And then
and that really comes out in the end.
Yes.
I don't know if we want to start talking about that.
We'll talk about the end in a little bit. I just want to cover everything else so that way we can mainly cover the end because the end is where it's at. They discuss pretty much the TVA and their lifelong goal, and it kind of just puts it into perspective. They're like, we don't have an end set time. We don't know, like, when all of it will end. The timekeepers are unraveling time. And once we have peace and order throughout all of time, then we're done. And once we reach the end of time, that's it. But with that being said, sounds a little culty, does it not, Jackson?
A little bit. I feel like the timekeepers don't sound like good people.
No, the fact that we've never... Also, they do a little bit more of like, yeah, the timekeepers are super busy on this right now. I'm going to go out here on this is just my Danan theory. I don't think the timekeepers exist.
I was kind of thinking the same thing, but then you got to wonder, like, where did the people working in the TVA come from if they didn't come from the timekeepers?
I think it's very much of the sense of, like, they found themselves here. And like how some religions start and everything, they're like, okay, we need to have someone to base this off of because no one is going to follow us if we're just like, we want to keep order in the timeline.
Yeah, but, like, how does one... I mean, they're all, like, human in a way, right?
Yeah.
How does a human find the TVA?
Well, they, like, in the last episode, they're, like, created for this job.
Yeah, but then if, like, who were they created by? If not the timekeepers.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. Maybe, I feel like the timekeepers probably exist and they are just either evil or they just don't want to use their powers for good anymore. Something like that.
Yeah, they say the thing of, like, this is the dominant timeline, but who's to say they didn't do a lot of bad things to make this the dominant timeline?
Yeah, to other timelines.
Because they had the ability to explode other timelines completely. So who's to say that's not how they won that timeline multiverse battle?
Yeah, and I always thought it was a bit messed up that they literally just destroy timelines. Like, you know, people die because of them. Although, like, they don't die on the main timeline. They just die on an alternate timeline.
But still, I mean, that's apples and oranges. That's still kind of like murder. But we'll cover that in a second. I think we'll jump into the end, and then we can bounce back and forth to the end. Throughout any more talking points we find. But we gotta talk about this, Jackson.
We do. It's very important.
So, we find out at the end of the last episode, Loki...
Well, actually, let's preface something.
We're prefacing.
So, Loki, doing all his research, finds out that the other variant Loki is hiding in natural disasters that kill everyone. Because apparently doesn't matter what happens before or after because everyone in that area dies.
Yes.
So you can do whatever you want to the timeline and no one will be able to detect it because there's not really that big of a change.
The salad metaphor.
The salad metaphor. It was very good. Loki destroys Owen Wilson's salad.
The Loki jokes are, I'm liking them. I'm liking the Loki jokes.
They're pretty fun.
They're pretty good. We see another bit of Casey in that scene also. Love Casey, the standout character. He's just drinking milk and then Loki takes it to pour into the salad to show. But it was nice seeing how they tested the hypothesis in Pompeii.
Oh, yeah.
Mobius was like, just do something small. And then Loki just starts breaking stuff, letting out the pigs. It's like, everyone's going to die.
And starts speaking in, like, their language.
Italian. He just started, like, telling everyone. Oh, no, wait, was it Rome? Roman?
It was Rome.
Whatever.
I don't know. Did they speak Roman? I don't know. Is that even a language? Here at Roomies Talkin Movies,
we know
are not
things.
Culturally sensitive.
Welcome to Learning with Roomies.
Excuse me.
Okay. No, it was Italy. They were speaking Italian.
They were speaking. Okay, good. That's kind of what I thought, but I didn't want to say it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, so let's go to the end now. They know that Loki is hiding somewhere in a natural disaster. They find out that the natural disaster is a hurricane at some random, outlet mall.
It was a reference also to like Roxxon and how that's been like a background kind of thing in all of the movies. Like they're like trying to be a rival company for Stark Tech, like with AIM and everything else. They're just another bad organization. But this time it looks like in this possible future that Roxxon just becomes like Amazon in a sense, where they're just like a huge distributor of materials and things.
Yeah. So they go into that like department store and look for the new Loki. And it turns out a couple things. So the other Loki doesn't want to show themselves. I'm not saying anything because that's spoiling.
I mean, we're spoiling everything, but we're building to it right now. We're building to
the big reveal, right?
Yeah.
So she...
That was authentic. That was a genuine thing. That we didn't script that. Jackson forgot the thing he promised immediately to the listeners.
Yeah, we don't talk about it.
So anyways, she's possessing people.
She's possessing people. She possesses the guard that Loki's stationed with.
Mm-hmm.
They get some alone time to talk. We find out that she beats him up in the form of some big brolic man.
Mm-hmm.
And then we find out her true form is a she.
Oh, girl! What? I mean, Lady Loki was definitely going to show up in this, and the fact when they said it's a Loki, I was just like, okay, so it's probably Lady Loki.
Yeah. But no, that isn't even the big thing of the episode. The big thing of the episode is what she does.
Her plan.
She detonates like so many of those
those time bombs.
Yeah, the time bombs that destroy timelines, right? And what she does before they go off is she puts them in all these different places.
In space and time.
In space and time, causing a ton of branches off the sacred timeline.
We thought WandaVision was going to be what caused the multiverse to break. It was Lady Loki, apparently.
Yeah, and then the worst... I mean, not even the worst part. So during this whole fight between Loki and Lady Loki, you're like, okay, where do his allegiances lie? Is he trying to help the TVA with all this, or is he trying to get on Lady Loki's good side? And then at the end of the episode, when Lady Loki leaves through the time portal, Loki follows her.
And Mobius goes like, dang it.
But we don't know if he followed Lady Loki to try and, be the good guy and defeat her.
Yeah.
Or if he did it to betray the TVA, which I feel like it's probably going to be the first one.
Yeah, I think even if it's like the TVA, he's still like loyal to Mobius and things like that.
Yeah.
But
I actually think him seeing his own death made him realize, wait, I actually want to do something good.
Yeah. And we see this again in the theme that was brought up last week, because he was like, the judges said, like, you have no... This isn't your story. You don't have a purpose outside of making other people better. And then in this one, when he's like, why do you want to... Why is this Loki trying to do anything? I'm the best Loki. And then Lady Loki goes, this isn't about you. So I think this is going to be a humbling event for Loki. maybe episode 3 or 4, we're going to find out that Loki's going to realize that he's not the main character in the overall MCU. So he'll try to do the best he can.
That would be something I'd like to see.
Yeah, I'd like to see an anti-hero to hero Loki, like we saw within the first 10 years of Marvel, but do it within one season.
Exactly. Well, we got 4 more episodes. It can happen.
4 more episodes, baby. And, I mean, this is progressing, chef's kiss, beautifully.
I like it. I actually really like this series. I think I like it better than WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Because WandaVision, you're in it for the long haul. You got to slowly unravel the mystery. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, you're like, okay, let's just get to the part where Falcon is now Captain America again. But with this one,
it's fun.
You're like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
Like, anything can happen in this show. Because we know, like, they were like, oh, we don't know if this is going to tie into the multiverse. This doesn't tie into the multiverse saga. This starts it. There's no other way around it. Like, this is going to get Doctor Strange's attention. This will also become worse because Wanda's trying to get her kids. Like, this created so much more chaos.
Thank God.
Thank God. I was sick of everything being happy and nice.
Me too.
I do want to touch on one other thing. I recently just rewatched Doctor Strange, and the whole thing they mentioned how the magic works is they draw powers from different multiverses to control the magic and things like that. And then I was like confused because the TVA was like, there's no other multiverses, there's just this main timeline. But to that being said, I feel like this is the main timeline, but there are also small branching off points and like completely separate universes. That they
maybe separate universes that aren't on the TVA's radar.
Yeah, or like things that they know won't become issues.
Can access.
Right? Yeah. Well, because you'd think if this was like off the main timeline, like the dark dimension and things like that, like they'd be like, oh shit, Dormammu, this giant space demon, is gonna destroy Earth. Whatever. But they're always like, no, this is the sacred timeline. So I'm interested to see how they're going to explain that, because they've based the whole Doctor Strange magic thing based on multiverse energy. Like, that's how they do all the magic. So I'm confused how they're going to explain it, but I'm excited to see them try.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Jackson, what do you think is going to happen next episode?
100% Loki is going to talk to Lady Loki.
For sure.
And they might kiss.
That'd be weird.
I mean...
That's like kissing a version of yourself.
Technically, I think I saw something that she's not actually like Loki.
No, that was a great thing. Thank you so much for bringing that up, because I was going to forget about that and not talk about it this episode. Jackson, you're a genius. Continue. I know what you're talking about.
I don't think she's actually Loki. She is a frost giant by the last name of Laufey son or something.
Laufey daughter.
Yeah, so she's like a daughter. She's not Loki. She's an ice giant daughter, probably his sister.
Oh no, never mind. I do not know what you're talking about.
What's the then what was it you were gonna say?
Because in some of the translated credits for this episode, they described her character. The actress is playing Sylvie, which, if to be connected to the Marvel Universe in general, is the name of the character known as the Enchantress, which is a character, a henchman in some versions, a complete separate villain of their own, who normally works with Loki, and then the Executioner from Thor Ragnarok, the Karl Urban, that guy. But this could be the way of bringing that in. And all it would just be is like, oh, this is a version of Loki who enchants people instead of does other magic. Because that's what she does. She was enchanting other people and controlling them, like Enchantress.
Gotcha.
And that
yeah,
might be
I saw a different theory. So, I mean, but I feel like that probably makes a lot more sense. But the fact that they're calling her Loki makes it weird to me.
Wait, that might be the twist.
What if it is?
What if we ruin the show for everyone right now, just by our twist? I hope we see some of those other versions of Loki, like they did in that press briefing, where they're like, this is a Loki who won the Tour de France. This is a Loki who's the king of the Frost Giants. Like, I hope we see some more goofy versions of that. And I want to see a frog Thor.
You want to see a frog Thor?
I want to see a frog Thor.
I hope they go into the different multiverses, and then there's just a bunch of like cool things that like we'd never expect.
I want some like recasted superheroes. We go to a multiverse where Tony Stark's the bad guy. I want all the craziness stuff right now. And I feel like this is going to be a taster of how Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness is going to be, because I feel like that whole movie is just going to be bouncing around to different places.
Probably. It's going to be interesting.
I'm
really excited for next week's episode.
And before we end, I forgot to mention Camden is sick, and that's why he wasn't here this episode. Probably should have started with that, but it's here now. As the YouTube gods and the YouTube algorithm always command us to, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Leave what you thought about the episode yourself down here. Any possible theories you have for this episode, go ahead and leave them down. We'll bring them up in the next episode. We are so happy to be here doing this with you, and we will see you all next week for the next review of Loki, as well as we're probably going to hit off another section of a few Bad Batch episodes. The past few have been pretty juicy, so expect that one from me and Camden. Don't forget, if you haven't already, Jackson, don't you just wish there was a podcast that was filled with the latest movie news and reviews?
I do, honestly. Why isn't there?
You better switch that perspective, because Roomies Talkin Movies, our podcast, comes out every week, most of the time on Wednesdays, where we review the latest movie news and reviews. And this episode that we're just finishing up, if it's not out already, is going to be about Luca. If you like that, go ahead and listen back. We have almost 40 episodes, maybe just 40 episodes for you to go back and listen to. All great, all of them good. Some of them, the audio quality is not the best, but we're working with what we got here. But with that being said, we love you, we thank you so much, and we'll see you all next time.
Take care.